Dr. Imad Bayoun, the question is again, the earth is a trust and we have been entrusted with. Do you see us fulfilling this part the way it should be, or are we failing this responsibility? If you see us, we're doing a good job, how can we make it better? If you see us failing, how can we improve that and fix it and correct it, inshallah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه من والاه. I want to say first, it's a great honor actually to speak to such an audience and also to share the podium with Dr. Tariq, Dr. Muzammil, and my respected sister, Sheikha Muslima, and of course my very dear brother, Dr. Ahmed. I think the question of whether we have failed or succeeded assumes that we only get one chance and we fail or we succeed. And of course, the rule here is that it's a continuous battle and the opportunity is always there. So in other words, if a person fails, there's always actually a chance to correct the situation. And this can be true about the individual as well as about the ummah, that a new chance or a new opportunity is continuously available. But to answer the question, I think we're just falling somewhere in the middle. And I think through history, we've been probably vacillating between one end and the other. But you can say that probably at the highest end or at the best state, there's always room for improvement. And also at the lowest state, there's always hope actually to be better. So there's always something to be done. And I think also it's really important that if we were to judge what we're going through today, that it is difficult to make a conclusion when you're still actually in a story and it's still unfolding. So it's not finished yet. That's why even if you're talking about the Arab Spring, it's not finished yet. You know, and if you look, of course, even in the Quran, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, how the difficulties that he went through, he was put in the well by his brother, sold as a slave, ended up in prison, and at the end he became the great treasurer of Egypt. If you were to focus on him when he was in the well, the conclusion, of course, is he failed, or we have failed, anyway, to answer the question. But of course, the story is still actually in progress and is not complete until actually you see the whole picture. So this is something really important, and I'm not really a big fan of self-bashing. That's one thing. The Prophet ﷺ said something really important. He said, "Man qala halaka al-qawm, fahuwa ahlakuhum." Anyone that says people are lost, he's the one that is most lost. And in another version of the hadith, "Man qala halaka al-qawm, fahuwa ahlakahum." Bil-fath means he's the one that caused for them to be lost. That's why I think maintaining this optimism and a positive attitude, despite the fact that there are certain problems, is something that is really needed. And I think one thing is certain by looking through history is that our ummah has the unique quality of always rebounding, of always coming back. So no matter how bad things go, we always come back. And if you look, of course, at the lowest probably, or among the biggest, the darkest times, is really what happened, of course, at the time of Salah ad-Din or before that, and how the ummah actually was able to come back. But I think it's really important in this whole discussion, I think to answer part of the question that you said, what can we do, is the beautiful verse that you quoted, and the whole Quran is beautiful, of course, in Surah Al-Baqarah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً, that as your Lord has told the angels, I'm putting a vicegerent on this earth. Much of the time when you hear this verse, what comes to our mind is that this istikhlaf, being a vicegerent, is limited to a political leadership. In other words, there's only one person that will be doing that, so that's why we always point the fingers toward the leaders or towards somebody else. But the fact is, each one of us can be this vicegerent within his own domain. So the father can be the vicegerent and will be responsible for that. It will be a manner for him. The teacher will be a vicegerent. The brother will be a vicegerent, but each person, I think the important thing that I'm trying to emphasize is that each person has a role to play in this uprising or in the betterment or any nahda or any islah that we're looking after. So it is not just a job of somebody else over there, the Muslims, like somebody coming from a different planet, but it's a job of every single one of us. And it's something that each one of us actually has to contribute in there. So it's really important when we're talking about, again, going back to what I said earlier, that the ummah has the potential of always coming back or coming back into the leadership or whatnot. This potential is in the teachings of the religion. But it's not guaranteed just because we have it. to say that, well, aren't we the Muslims? أَوَلَسْنَا عَلَى الْحَقِّ وَلَيْسُوا عَلَى الْبَاطِلِ. Just because we have the truth, then automatically everything will be guaranteed for us. It doesn't work this way. That's why here Sayyid Qutb, alayhi rahmatullah, mentioned something beautiful in his book, هذا الدين, to say that sometimes we feel that because we are the Muslims, everything will be presented to us on a silver platter. But he said that the laws of change, the laws of improvement apply to every person, whether Muslim or non-Muslims, whether matters of this life or matters of the hereafter. That's why this potential will not be fulfilled unless you have people that will take it upon themselves to actually fulfill that duty, to adopt this message and to convey it actually to the others. But it doesn't happen by itself. So the question is, what can we offer? Or do we have something new to present? Do we have something that we can offer humanity that humanity doesn't have? Do we have a role? Do we have something that they need? And the answer is absolutely yes. What can we offer? Humanity, no doubt, that has achieved a lot of technical advancement, and we have really advanced tremendously when it comes to the how of doing things. But when it comes to the why, then actually we're still crawling. We don't know the reason. So we have become more efficient. We have, become more healthy, to live better. But the question is, for what purpose? And this is something that humanity doesn't have. And that's why here the need for revelation, by the way, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends this answer, and that comes actually in the form of religion. It doesn't happen by itself, but the person actually that has to be given to us. And I think a proof to that is all the books, which I read a lot, the books on self-help and self-development, which are great and cute and has some good information in there, but it tells you that humanity actually is looking for answers, for directions. And each one of them is claiming to find the answer, the secret, the 6th habit, the 7th habit of this, the 10 secrets of that, and each one of claiming actually that they have found the answers to everything. And all of these are actually attempt. And they have a lot of benefit in there, but the big questions actually remain to be answered, and that only can come actually from a revelation and not from others. So when we're talking about, it's difficult to answer the big question like that and to get into the specifics when you only have 8 minutes. How much time do I have left?
Minus 2 minutes.
Minus 2 minutes. Okay, khair, inshallah. So I will
just finish that point. It's okay.
Okay, inshallah. Wallahi, I think just a little bit of specific, I think when it comes to our dealings with other human beings. And I think when we're talking about the different ideologies, and Islam is something to present an alternative. I'm not just talking about presenting an ideological academic alternative, but I'm talking about presenting the spirit of the religion. Something I would like to quote Al-Imam Al-Banna when he said, وَلَكِنَّكُمْ نُورٌ جَدِيدٌ يَسْرِي فِي قَلْبِ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ فَيُحْيِيهِ بِنُورِ الْقُرْآنِ. That you are a new spirit, a new light that is blown into the heart of this ummah, and it gives it life by the light of the Quran. So that's why just conveying the message, and Islam has the potential of doing that, has the ability of doing that, because Islam addresses in the Quran the Muslims and the non-Muslims. And I think the greatest example, and I'll close with that inshallah, is the beautiful, again, the whole Quran is beautiful, verse in Surah Al-Hujurat, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhan nas. And the interesting thing is that he says, Ya ayyuhan nas, after he says 5 times in the same surah, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu. So he says, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakari wa untha, wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu, inna akramakum 'inda Allahi atqakum. We have created from a male and a female and made you into tribes and nations. Lita'arafu. Lita'arafu has 2 meanings. The common one is, يعرف بعضكم بعضا. So you may know one another, but there's another deeper meaning to تعارفوا. ليتعامل بعضكم مع بعض بالمعروف. So you may deal with each other in ma'ruf. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this ummah the job of knowing one another, but dealing with one another, and saying at the end, إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. جزاكم الله خير والحمد لله رب العالمين.
جزاك الله خير.